You want to bend fire into chaos, slow time itself, and control the battlefield like a true master of the elements. This is my Darkflame Chronomancer build, the one I've been tearing through the third Edict of Passive Exile 2 with. In this guide, I'll show you the skills, passives, and the gear choices that make this build shine. Now stay with me until the end. I'll reveal some secret picks that take the power level way beyond normal and my full build completely. Alright, let's open with the skills because that's where this build feels strong right away. The main combo is Spark with Flame Wall. You cast Flame Wall, then fire Spark to it. Each projectile picks up extra fire damage while still hitting with lightning. That's 6 projectiles per cast plus whatever your staff is throwing out, giving you amazing clear speed and solid single target pressure. Now for utility, you want to use Frost Bomb or Orb of Storms. Frost Bomb weakens enemies to elemental hits and chills them when it pops. Orb of Storms, on the other hand, pairs with Spark to trigger extra lightning bolts. Either way, you get reliable control and scaling power. To round things out, take Elemental Weakness to lower resistances, including Chaos, and Arctic Armor for defense. Arctic Armor chills or even freezes melee attackers, buying you precious space when mobs close in. Now let's look at the passive tree, the backbone of any build. Early on, you want to pass to the left through the Sorcerer section until you reach Elemental Force. This makes every spell you add to your kit feel stronger. Then we move into Potent Incantation for raw damage and cast speed. Early survivability isn't armor, it's movement. You need to stay mobile and keep enemies at range. Now, the real spike happens in Act 2. This is about the point when you unlock the Blackflame Covenant, which converts all fire damage into chaos damage. Since most enemies have weak chaos resistance, this turns your build into a monster. Later, I'll show you gear that stacks perfectly with it. Then comes your Ascendancy. While many lean towards Stoneweaver, Chronomancer scales better, I argue, and offers unique playstyle twists. Inside Chronomancer, you have two paths. Apex of the Moment, which slows nearby enemies by 20%, great if melee pressure is a problem for you. Quicksand Hourglass unlocks the skill Sands of Time, which shifts between cast speed and area of effect. Cast speed melts bosses, AoE clears packs. It's constantly rotating so your gameplay naturally adapts to the rhythm, going all the way up to 60% for each one. Now gear makes or breaks this build. Now let's split this into early and ideal setups. Early game, you want to grab a staff with Firebolt or Lightning Bolt. Fire pairs especially well with Flame Wall. Look for spell damage, mana regen, and resistances for your attributes. Now for armor and everything else, you typically are looking for cold resistance for Act 1, fire lightning for Act 2, and chaos by Act 3. And then you're just going to stack energy shield and if possible increase rarity. Sometimes I even use weaker gear if it boosts drops overall. However, I don't go too crazy with it. Now my ideal setup so far is the blue flame braces. They convert fire into cold and stack with Blackflame Covenant. That means you deal chaos and cold damage at the same time. You freeze them or melt them. Next we have the Lazuli Ring, which increases your spells crit buffs, plus it gives you chaos resistance. Now mana costs go up by about 10%, but regen and pool size keep it manageable, so focus on making sure your mana regen is high. The Dusk Vigil Ashen Staff is the staff my go-to at the moment. High spell damage, mana regen, and Ember Fusillade for double casting for any spells you use. Perfect for fishing targets at a range. So for the rest of my gear, I'm still playing with seeing what I like, but right now my priorities are resistances, regen on mana and health, and then speed of my boots. Don't ignore intelligence rolls, they push your mana pool higher, so if you do get one, hold on to that. Now, here are the secrets that you've been waiting for, and if you want to push things further, these are the picks I definitely recommend. Taut Flesh gives you that sustain when things get roughed, as melee damage comes back to you as health up to a certain percentage. Secrets of the Orb. It lets you keep 2 Orbs of Storms active at any time, which really goes crazy when you start throwing spark everywhere. Glazed Flesh gives you a 3% recovery of life, mana, and energy shield whenever you take any damage. And finally, Void gives you that chaos damage, ramping up to 50% extra, directly fueling the Black Flame engine that we're looking for. Now that's the Darkflame Chronomancer. Chaos Conversion, time tricks, and pure elemental control all rolled into one. Try it out, share your tweaks in the comments, and let me know what discoveries you've made, or what I could do better. More POE2 streams are incoming, so if you want to keep dominating the battlefield with the pack, stick around. Until then, keep howling my pack, and I'll see you in the next one. Now this is for those that is going to be asking for the full breakdown. Here is everything I have on my character at this moment. Alright, so this is where I'm at so far. Again, there's still much improvement to go with this build, but already at this point in Act 4, it's been such a blast and kind of broken at the moment. I'm just going to show you all my skills and just briefly what the support gems are. You can then make with it what you want. Then go from there to try and make this build even better. Show me how it's actually done. Also, you can probably pause the screen if at any point if this is going too fast, which is a nice thing about YouTube. Go YouTube. Now for elemental weakness, there is a must-have, which is going to be Cursed Ground, which allows you to drop the skill and for it to stay on the ground, which you can have up to 2 maximum Cursed Ground areas. Now I do want to mention that for freeze, it's definitely a must-have as well on Arctic Armor because it just makes the enemies that hit you or actually tag you freeze so much easier and faster, giving you that ability to escape when you need to. Here is our skill tree. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, you want to start on the left side and slowly work your way up till you get Elemental Force. Really super helpful to have, gives you elemental damage increase as well as resistances, great early on. Then I made my way over here to get Open Mind and Practical Signs, increase cast speed and mana regen. You can also go here. I end up going this way just to get the extra intelligence for the mana pool. And then more mana here. Really kind of nice to have extra mana shield and everything like that. Inside for this, you can just kind of follow the pathway. I'm working my way to get Zone of Control, which is going to increase my area of effect for curses, which is already 60% increased at the height of Sands of Time. On top of the support gems that I have, it then gives me a 25% increased magnitude. So essentially, once I get this, I'll have massive curse zones, which just debuff all my enemies completely by absurd amounts. And it's going to end up hindering them, which is slowing the movement speed. It's a big wave of slow. I went for the Breath of Fire early on to get some fire penetration before I got my Darkflame, because I was using a Fire Staff and Flame Wall and lots of other fire-based skills. So definitely good early on. I might re-roll that to respec this here eventually to Breath of Lightning, just because of the lightning penetration, but I just haven't done so yet. Then we make our way up to Potent Incantation, which is right here. Increase spell damage and reduce cast speed. Really nice to have. You have Taut Flesh here. 20% physical damage taken is recouped as life. Really, really good for survivability. You can do Loose Flesh. I don't really have a lot of issues with elemental damage because of my resistances, so I didn't get the points into it just because I don't think I really need it. Void is right here. Enemies you curse have 3% minus 3% to chaos resistance. Super helpful. And once you get all of these, you essentially have 50% increased chaos damage. This is where Blackflame Covenant is at. So you just have to make your way up and then over. And definitely get this one. You this is the keystone there for the build. Here is scripts of the orb, which gives you a limit to your orb, which is your orb of storms. And then this also does come with increased cast speed as well as more spell damage. Making our way up here, I have glazed flesh, which gives you that extra recoup life as energy shield, mana, and so forth. I'm probably gonna end up filling out this tree here. Then I also get enhanced barrier, which increased my maximum energy shield, and 5% of my maximum life was converted to energy shield because I just ended up building tons of life unintentionally. But my energy shield is a little bit more important, and I still have a pretty good life pool at Act 4. There's still a lot more to this guy that I'm going to end up expanding on, but for the moment, definitely worth checking out. And if you see anything that I should add or respec or whatnot, definitely let me know. I'm definitely open to hearing more. Now, getting into the gear, one of the armors that I have been trying out that I've actually been having fun, especially when paired with Covalescence, is the Elementalist Robe. Gloam Gown, I'm guessing is how you pronounce it. But it gives you a huge boost to energy shield, gives you bonus spirits, which is great because you can run Arctic Armor and then Covalescence. Cold resist by 30% for this one at least, and a 1000% increased energy shield recharge rate. Your base energy shield recharges after a 10-second delay. You still gain a little bit depending on your other stats of energy shield, but once you hit that 10-second mark, bam, it's instantly full. So it's good if you can stay away, you can kite and not take damage. But for those moments where you are just up against the wall in a hard place, that's where Covalescence comes in handy. If you don't think you're going to be able to wait the whole 10 seconds, you pop this, it will instantly recharge your energy shield and it prevents it from being interrupted. So it's always nice to have that as a backup, as a failsafe, if you will. These are my boots, and these are the stats I'm really looking for. You can kind of see. Life regeneration has been super helpful. Increased movement speed as well. These are the gold cast gloves that I mentioned earlier in the video, as well as the Lazuli ring. Just a critical hit chance for spells and bonus damage. Super fun, but it does come with that negative downside of the increased mana cost of skills. Here is my Ashen Staff. Again, it's going to get better. I am aware of that, but right now it is still pretty fun to use. And you get that extra Ember Fusillade whenever you use any skills, so you just get a free spell. Granted, it does take your mana, just a little bit, but it's not too bad. It's very manageable for the most part. Here is the helmet. Again, increased rarities kind of items I'm trying to find as a bonus. It has all the other resistances or buffs or whatnot that I want. Could probably get something better, but with that 14% increased rarity of items found, like I've mentioned earlier in the video, just kind of holding out to this until I find something that's just so good I have to give it up. Then I got the Pearlescent Amulets, I'm guessing it's pronounced. And it gives you huge intelligence boosts, life regen, maximum mana, and armor, which armor you don't really need, but the elemental resistances I do want. So this is nice. And lower level, but finding something better at one point, not the biggest priority for me at the moment, at least where I'm at in the game. And then I got the prismatic ring. This I do definitely need to upgrade, but again, there's code resistance, is the 5 regen. Then we have the prismatic ring, and this is just 5 resistance, code resistance, all the other buffs and whatnot that I definitely want. Just really stacking my elemental resistances. And then finally, this is kind of where it's at so far. For being only level 57, not too bad, I gotta say. I've not had a lot of issues with Act 4 with this build so far as it is. I've died a few times, but not nearly as much as I would have in the past runs that I've done for the past seasons. So let me know what you think. If you see anything that's trash, or if you see anything that is gold, love to hear it. As always, stay howling.